to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today's episode is all about Borat. Borat Sagdiyev. Our favourite guy. And surely people know who he is by now, but apparently not.
We actually had something else planned for this week. We won't say.
We won't say because, it's a surprise.
Well, it's not a surprise because we're not going to end up doing it, actually. So.
Oh, we're not going to end up doing it.
Oh my god. But as you can tell, or maybe you think this is the way Dominic always speaks.
It is.
We watched the Borat Subsequent Moviefilm last
Subsequent Moviefilm.
Yes.
My stereotypical accent.
Yes.
Which I'll now drop.
Please do.
For everybody's benefit.
Please.
We watched the second Borat film.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know or, haven't seen Borat, he was a character created by Sacha Baron Cohen, who was also Ali G. That was big over here, wasn't it, Ali G?
I guess so.
I mean, he made a film almost about 20 years ago now, I think it was. Ali G in the House, which I remember going to see. Yeah. It was pretty funny. And I mean, he had a show on Channel 4, the Ali G show.
Da Ali G.
Big up massive stains, He was like Booyaka Shah, and that's how he used to do. That was his kind of like shtick. It was like a
what type of show was it? I don't think I ever saw it.
I mean, it was the same sort of thing as Borat.
Okay.
He was like
he did interviews, didn't he?
He interviewed like Posh and Becks, pretty much everyone, and they didn't realize Ali G was a character. Yeah. They thought he was a real person.
Yeah.
It was kind of like in the same vein as Alan Partridge, really. I think Talkback Productions, which did Alan Partridge, produced the Ali G show. And he had Borat on that. I mean, all of this started on the 11 o'clock show, which was a satire program. It was Ricky Gervais and Mackenzie Crook got their start on that show too.
Oh, yeah?
I think maybe the David Brent character was on that. It was like a series of sketches.
Oh, really?
And it was like satirical.
Oh, God, Britain loves their sketch shows.
We love our people pretending to be other people too, as well, and making it like, oh, this is an actual real person, like Alan Partridge, Ali G and Borat, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he also had another character, Bruno Gerhard, which is a gay Austrian fashion model or whatever it was. He made a film about him about 10 years ago too. But Borat was his Kazakhstan reporter,
Yeah.
And he was introduced by Ali G as like, someone I saw on satellite TV while I was waiting on the Fantasy Channel, and he was on there, so I thought he's a good guy, had him on my show as like a roving reporter kind of guy. And he proved popular with the fans. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, and he went to the USA and interviewed people as Borat.
Yeah.
And
that was the film, right?
No, he did it for the series too. Yeah, so that's why they were like, we can make a film out of this and just have him go to America to make this documentary. The first one came out in 2006, and it was officially titled Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And, he's just this, like, it's obviously a fictional version of Kazakhstan. It's like, playing up to stereotypes that nobody in Kazakhstan has ever progressed beyond the early 20th century, you know? And they're all gypsies there and all this kind of stuff.
And that's all supposed to be, like, in good humor.
It's in good humor, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not, like, actually trying to propagate this stereotype.
It's like, if you're a dense person.
You're going to believe that Borat is real,
Yeah.
So you believe this guy, that guy Borat, yeah, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he comes over to America, to make a documentary.
So this was never my type of humor.
Yes,
really.
I mean, it's silly humor.
It's very silly humor. It's kind of disgusting in some
It's
parts.
vulgar, yeah.
It's
vulgar humor, and it's like, boy humor, as you like to call it.
Crass.
Crass.
Yeah. So I didn't really have that much interest in seeing it. I can't even remember why or how I actually then did end up seeing it. And I did. This is the first film I'm talking about here.
Yeah, the cultural learnings of America for make benefit glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
And it's been a while, because when did that come out?
2006. So
2006.
It's about 15 years ago now.
Yeah, so I can't really remember much about it other than, of course, the famous...
the mankini.
Yes.
Yeah, the mankini. Everyone
the
had
green,
that.
Like, Speedo
Yeah.
stretched up over his head, and
like, I am Borat.
Yeah.
Yay,
Basically, it was like it covered his crotch and then
nothing else.
Up over,
really.
I think up over his nipples kind of thing, and like went around the back of his neck, and that was
became
like...
kind of like a thing. And he has a mustache and the crazy kind of hair, and he looks Eastern European. You could say,
I found it funny. So
there was
if you have not seen these films, and because you've seen the previews and you're just like, it's not really my kind of humor.
Yeah.
I think that you should give it a try. If you're into sarcasm and like sort of making fun of stereotypes.
Making fun of stereotypes by playing them up.
Yeah.
To an exaggerated degree, because
if you're
Borat,
not easily offended, in other words.
He's anti-Semitic, he's, he has no idea about things, and, it's like the obvious kind of thing that, in the first film, the plot of the first film was basically Kazakhstan selected him to go to America and make a documentary about its people.
Right.
So he goes there, and then he sees an episode of Baywatch. He goes there with his little mate.
I don't remember that.
He goes there and he gets to New York, and it's crazy. He's just basically pranking, and only him, his little sidekick, and he had like a prostitute or something, as I remember, that he picked up. They were actors, and they were in on it, but everyone else pretty much wasn't. It was all like unscripted documentary style, just like, hey, and they didn't know that what this was all about. They thought Borat was a real guy. It wasn't Sacha Baron Cohen in character. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he sees this episode of Baywatch and he falls in love with Pamela Anderson. And I'm ruining it for people who've never seen it. And so he makes it his mission to find Pamela Anderson and marry her.
Yeah, okay.
And
I don't remember.
And there was this terrible, we're gonna drive across country because we can't fly because of what the Jews did on 9/11 or something.
God.
And it's like that kind of humor. It's like, it's like, this is what backward people believe. Yeah. And it's like, this is what's funny. And there was several funny scenes in it, like the one where they're in the B&B and they learn that the people who run the B&B are Jewish, so they try to escape.
Oh yeah,
from the B&B,
Oh god.
And there was something. I do remember the first film because I haven't seen it since it came out. I think I watched it with my dad, or we went to the cinema to see it. I can't remember. Either with my friend or my dad. I remember seeing it somewhere, and it was funny. I got the jokes.
Or maybe it came on HBO or something. Because I can't imagine having rented it, but I definitely saw it like shortly after it came out on DVD or film or whatever. But I have not seen it since then, and I don't remember any of this, actually.
I mean, he became like a thing, he was already kind of like a cult figure in the UK anyway.
Yeah.
Because I vaguely remember people going, I am Borat, before the film ever came out. And then the film came out and everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
And so it's, he kind of retired the character a year later, and he said, that's it, I'm done with Borat, onto other
the country of Kazakhstan was very upset about the portrayal
they tried to sue him,
which is understandable.
Because he was portraying Kazakhstan as in this negative light and everything like that, and it's like it's a fictionalized version of Kazakhstan.
And it's like the reason why it's funny is because it's not true. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
The film was denounced by the Kazakhstan premier and banned there and stuff, and Sacha Baron Cohen wasn't welcome there.
Right.
People who appeared in the film that didn't know, like there was two, I remember they picked up two fraternity brothers.
Oh yeah.
They tried to sue for like defamation.
Oh God, yeah.
There was some woman who lost her job because
but the thing is,
she thought it was like she was like some news station or something that interviewed him or something.
Oh yeah.
She lost her job over it, she says, and tried to sue. Yeah, a lot of people just tried to sue them, but they'd already signed like
they had
stuff.
to have signed permissions to have used.
Oh
their
yeah,
image
and it's like they didn't read it,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, oh, we were duped, blah blah blah, and it's like fine, but I don't think anything ever came of the suings or anything like that,
Yeah. If anybody does know what happened with those, let us know.
Yeah, if you were someone who was in the first Borat film,
if you were
tried to
injured
sue,
in a car accident,
and you tried to sue Sacha Baron Cohen,
yeah,
and the makers, I think it was like 20th Century Fox or something. But anyway,
that was the first.
That was the first one, and then of course the furor died down after it, Then like last year he was spotted again doing his pranks.
Yeah.
And of course he's rushed to get this film made because this is very recent because I mean, without spoiling it, the events of this film.
We probably will spoil just very little bit of it.
I mean, basically the plot is Borat 2 subsequent movie film, delivery of prodigious bride to American regime for make benefit once glorious nation of Kazakhstan is the
that's the official title.
The official title.
Yeah.
And it has him returning to America. I go to America.
Yes.
And they all hated him in Kazakhstan because of the first film, and they made him do time in jail and all this.
Yeah.
And,
He's been in jail.
He's been in jail the whole time. And so he's back now, and he has to make it right. Basically. Make it right. So he's got to deliver a gift to Mike Pence.
Yeah.
and various things, but his daughter's basically in tow, who's obviously another actress. She's a Bulgarian actress, Maria Bakalova.
Yeah. And
the pranks and everything ensue, and of course the standout scene from this one is the one involving Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
And, everybody's just
if you haven't seen the films, you've probably at least heard of this controversy.
Yes, there's controversy because Rudy came out and said, oh, if he's trying to say that it was anything else, he's a stone cold liar. And, and he's kind of come back and said, well, you know what? It is what it is. You did what you did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, go judge it for yourself. We're not going to come down on any...
any
side here, so go see the. But of course, of him crashing. He eventually crashes the some rally.
Yeah.
It was. I think he was speaking at CPAC or something. Mike Pence was, and he crashes the rally with his daughter and everything.
Borat does.
Borat, yeah. Borat dressed as Donald Trump. Or the McDonald, as he likes to call him. The McDonald.
The McDonald, yeah.
Yes.
So the gift that he's got to bring doesn't end up showing up. So he has to come up with another gift to give. And he decides, actually...
I'll just give my daughter to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well... Yeah,
and she's great. She's really great. She's a Bulgarian actress. I think this is like her first widely known film, because I think she's done stuff before.
So, and this is totally guessing, unless you know for sure. But it seems to me that throughout this film, they told the people, the normal people, the non-actor people, that this is.
I think they
filming a
may
documentary.
Have to, yeah.
Yeah, we're filming a documentary. These two are from another country.
Kazakhstan.
And,
and they're doing this and just go along with it.
Yeah. And so they show up at different places, different events, and...
Because it seemed to me like a lot of them were just kind of taking this all in stride. And I mean, in the first Borat film, they did too. They weren't like, what the... I'm sure there's like outtakes and deleted scenes and stuff like that from the first and this second one, where people are just like, what is going on? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like the scene at the debutante ball from the second one.
Yeah.
Apparently that was a prank.
Yeah.
But it was like they told them all that there was like another movie that was being shown there, and then they did that. I mean, we're not going to spoil what happens, and you have to go watch the film.
Yeah. But you're watching it, and you're kind of a little bit in disbelief because, like Dominic says, everybody is sort of just rolling with it. But at the same time, you can tell that these people are not actors.
They are not actors. They're just going, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
So it's just it's kind of refreshing in the way that you get to see like how polite people can be in like really extraordinary situations.
Well, it's like camera acting. It's like, you know, like if he'd gone to like people who were salt of the earth, who did not care that a camera was pointed at them.
Yeah.
Then you would have saw a real reaction. You know.
Yeah.
Like the two guys.
Or if the cameras had been hidden, which I don't think they were, because
I think they were. In the Giuliani scene, they were hidden.
Yeah,
you know, in one of the scenes, the final edit of it, you know, it was definite because
But what were you?
But yeah, you know, like the two guys who he ends up being with, like I was wondering, are they actors? Are they not? You know, because it's like, this is too... But then there was, like, things like, this is acting, this is really good. Because it's like, you know, I cannot tell whether they're, like, real...
You've met people like that, right?
You've met people like that.
Especially now that you've lived in, like, Texas, and you've been to
Well, I haven't been around
towns.
People like that.
No.
Not thankfully.
Luckily.
I mean, you have to go see the film if you want to know what we're talking about. If you do know, you know.
Actually,
you know.
Can't go see it.
Oh, no, it's on Amazon,
we need to talk about that, actually.
You can go to a laptop and see it.
Yeah, Amazon Prime is the only place that is showing
the only place
in
that
the UK, maybe...
It probably, yeah.
In America.
I think, yeah.
It's just Amazon Prime.
Amazon got the exclusive rights to it because no one else would touch it. Because it's too politically charged. I
find that so crazy.
And he got it out just in time for the November election in the US.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the main message of it. I mean, you know, it's like, as a friend, Neil, said on things, because it wasn't as funny as the first one.
On Instagram,
on Instagram, yeah. And it wasn't as funny as the first one because that one there was obviously political and social kind of commentary in that. Yeah. But it was much more, like, funny in the situations, and it was a bit more thought out, shall we say. This one there was a plot, and... You know, but he was like, seemed like, you know, with all the events, he made it really current, you know, like, especially at the end, that was good.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was very funny, and it was just like, oh,
well,
you know.
I have a feeling, I mean, we have not read this, but if you've seen the film, or when you see the film, you'll see how the ending of it had to have changed. I don't know how I can say this without spoiling it, but it had to have changed. They just must have decided in the moment, okay, this new ending, you know, and just like written it the way that they did.
Because they've been filming this since last year. They've been filming it, you know, they apparently, you know, like if you go back through the whole thing, like news reports would be like, oh, yeah, Borat showed up here, Borat showed up there. And is he filming a new thing? Yeah, he is, you know. And so some of the filming took place this year before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And then it started, and then he filmed a bit more.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, oh, you know, the way this is going, we need to kind of film a new ending. I'm not sure if that's what happened.
But that's the way
it seemed like, you know, we had to go back in.
I mean, it had to have been.
Yeah, because of the way it was, like the ending, it all panned out.
Yeah.
It was classic, you know.
You guys, I don't know. It really depends. Okay, let me back up.
Back up right here.
I'm getting... This often happens to me. I get, like, my mouth goes ahead of my brain.
That happens. And I have to stop. And that's why you hear long pauses in this. Like, and it's just like, are they still there? But then I'll just go, yeah. But anyway, what were you going to say?
No, yeah. Yeah, we put out on Twitter, or on Instagram, a poll asking whether or not people have seen, and of course, you know, you guys, our polls are always last minute, so it's obviously very super unscientific, but...
Well, yes, they're last minute, they're just, you know...
They're just like, oh, you know what? We just watched this film. We're going to do a podcast about this. Let's do a poll.
Yes, I mean, this is how current our ideas are.
Yes.
We just watched this film last night.
We go with the flow, you guys. We're just like, we roll with the punches. We're just like, oh yeah, let's,
Yeah.
like in a newsroom, something happens and they're like, oh, get on top of this. We got to do
We've just received this just in. It's very this just in,
Yeah. So that's the way our podcasts are sometimes. So we put out a poll on Instagram. Have you seen the new Borat film or not? And overwhelmingly, the response was that that you guys have not seen it.
That could be because of it's just gone to Amazon. It's just gone.
It just came out, yeah.
But also, it's like not many people are into it.
Yeah, that's my question.
Because a lot of people haven't seen the first one either. Or even know who he is.
That's what I'm really curious about. Have people not seen it because they're not interested? Because they know what it's about and they know that they're not going to find it funny.
Yeah, they just assume, oh, it's stupid humor, it's making fun of people, it's pranks, it's like...
Well, not even just that. I think if they know how political it is, and they lean a particular way, they know they're not going to find it funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I wonder,
that's true, yeah.
I wonder how much of that is the reason. And then also there's just the fact that it's Amazon Prime. Maybe not everybody has Amazon Prime, so they don't, it's like, I can't see it because I don't have Amazon Prime, which is understandable. But I would have liked to, had we had the time, had we not kind of rushed this podcast out, I would have liked to delve more into the reasons as to why people have not seen it yet. I mean, fair enough. It's new. I think it just came out, this past Thursday or Friday, didn't it?
Yeah, it was this week sometime, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very new.
Subsequent Moviefilm.
Maybe you just haven't had the time to see it, but it is very, very, very political. And if you're not into that, then you might not find it funny.
I mean, really, he kind of toned down from the first one all the, like, crass stuff. There was still, there was still stuff, obviously, but it's kind of like the stuff he was saying was more like, to people.
Yeah. Her book, it's just like...
Well, the book and everything, yes.
The debutante ball, it's just like, yeah.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know how much toning down of the crass type of humor, but if that's not your type of humor, then yeah, I get it, but... If
you like more cerebral, then yeah, but this has an element of cerebral in it because it's kind of like, it makes you think, oh yeah, there's people out there that believe this. And the scene with the two guys was hilarious.
Well...
Because he kind of turned it around on them.
The whole thing, is funny until you realize that actually this is not that funny. You know what I mean? And
it's not that funny.
Because it's representative of how so many people feel, how they believe, how they are, And it's just a little bit kind of scary, really, more so than it is actually funny. Especially since these people are not actors other than him and his daughter,
Yeah, him and his daughter and I guess a couple of other people knew they were in a film,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I'm just kind of like wondering if those two guys were or weren't. Because some of it was just so like, oh, yeah. They think he's real, they think Borat is a real guy.
Yeah, because the way that those two guys were, would they have welcomed like a Middle Eastern type guy
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm
That's a little bit questionable.
Because he just turns up and he goes, I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Can I come home with you?
Yeah.
And the guy's reaction is just like
yeah,
like oh, I've been caught out here.
The thing is though, is that I know people like that.
Yeah, and they would have.
Yeah.
They would have just
put on the spot like that. They're not going to be ugly, when they get with their group, with their people, that's when they're ugly. You know what I mean? But if if they're just on their own, you catch them on their own and you kind of put them on the spot, their southernness their Southern charm, their Southern hospitality is going to win.
Yeah, because I'm not sure where that was filmed. That scene with those two guys. And
I don't know.
And because later on they take him to a rally.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you know.
Sometimes they told us where they were.
Country Steve.
In the country. And sometimes you just kind of had to guess. I mean, most of the accents were Southern, so if that tells you anything. But,
yeah, it was Georgia and Texas. A lot of it was filmed in. I think there was stuff filmed in LA, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you definitely get the feeling watching it that it was like, almost like you could have put, this was I'm Joe Biden and I approve this message at the end, couldn't you?
Yeah.
It was almost like that hardcore political.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And he does finish it with, now go vote.
Now go vote. Wear masks, save lives.
So while it was thought out, you do get a sense of he really rushed to get this out, hoping maybe to influence the election. And is that foreign influence? You know, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, foreign influence. Kazakhstan wants to play a big, you know.
Not Kazakhstan, but the UK, you know.
I mean, well, for those who don't, Sacha Baron Cohen is British.
Yes.
Borat is from Kazakhstan, and I mean, that's why he can get away with it, I think, you know.
Sacha Baron Cohen is a British actor.
He's married to Isla Fisher, who's Australian, so there you go. You got the whole Commonwealth rooting for you. Rootin' tootin'.
We actually just finished a little mini-series not that long ago. Was it a mini-series or was it a movie with him in it where he plays a spy?
Oh, yeah. He played Eli Cohen.
Yeah.
Because Sacha Baron Cohen is Jewish.
And it was
so it was like
it was
Eli
a serious film or show.
Israeli spy against the Palestinians. I think
it was a mini-series.
It was a mini-series, yeah.
It was very serious. You could almost not believe that it was him playing this character because it was like the acting.
He's playing a serious character. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he's a comedian at the end of the day, and you know it's like Ricky Gervais going into a serious role.
Yeah.
I mean romantic comedy is fine,
right?
Because there's still an element of comedy there, but this was a very serious kind of like this was
it was a spy show.
Spy show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. I think it was called The Spy. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's about Eli Cohen. It was made about 4 years ago or something like that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's quite maybe recent, even more recent than that. But yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen is the lead in that one, and yeah, he was very good.
Yeah, he's obviously a very good character actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Borat, I don't know. Have we touched on all the main things? I mean, I think we've spoiled.
We've spoiled it for you. We've spoiled both of the films. Just go watch them.
Let's say if you are liberal minded and don't mind vulgar humor,
this is the movie for you.
And like sarcasm, yeah, you're gonna like this film.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can get past all that. Really, you know, it's just like, it's just like, it's more like, how are these people putting up with this?
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah. And I do wonder that because they all obviously signed away to use their image.
Yeah, I mean, they were duped to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, like the debutante ball scene and everything like that. And, you know, some of them were just like, oh, we're making a film and this is, you know, and we've got this guy here. Because, I mean, in most of the film, he's dressed up as someone else, as like the average Joe, like Country Steve
that's something. You know, yeah, that's another point to make, isn't it? He had to do that.
He had to do that because Borat is kind of
famous
now. Yeah, which he found out. You know, and people go, "Oh, that's that Borat guy."
Yeah.
You know, hey, can I? You know, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not Borat." You know,
people were recognizing him.
People recognize him because he thought, "Oh, maybe it's been a few years now. It's been 15 years, 14 years, whatever."
And that's probably
no one's gonna remember Borat. It was kind of like a chewing gum film.
And that's probably the main reason why it went away, because it's just like, yeah, if I keep doing this, people are not gonna be, you know, they're gonna know who I am now.
Yes,
and it's not gonna be funny, you know. But yeah, no. People still recognized him at the beginning of the film.
So he thought, oh, I'll just do this, you know, because I have a feeling it was a setup for the pranks, just in case somebody goes, oh, wait, that's that Borat guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
this is all a setup, you know, and just ruined everything then, you know, like, so yeah.
But if you notice, the people who were in the film, you could kind of tell that they were probably very carefully chosen, because most of them were a bit older, probably definitely not the demographic of someone who would have seen the original Borat films. Or
like the guy in the fax shop in the FedEx shop or whatever it was. Yes.
The PMS
store.
It was like a PMS. Yeah, I mean, they had some really good researchers for this thing, finding these places that they went and filmed in, because, yeah. Anyway, we recommend it. If you haven't seen it, and like we said, don't mind vulgar humor, and don't mind politically charged humor, then this is probably something you're going to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I can say about it, really. I mean, you know, without spoiling it. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Very good.
It was good, yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. We appreciate you listening. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Only a couple of weeks left, really. 3 weeks, something like that. Anyway.
Things from glorious Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, get your Texas stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. To do that, you have to be following us on social media.
Yeah.
Whichever one you are on.
Instagram, on Twitter, them, so. Facebook.
Yeah. And all the information is on there. So just do that. Share our podcast with your friends.
Yes.
And just keep tuning in. We appreciate having you here.
Yes, we do. Our website, tianabuddy.com.
Oh, Lord.
It will be back soon.
It's an issue.
It's been an issue. We're transferring domain registers, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we've reverted back to the original one for now, but it's still up, but you know, we will be tianabuddy.com.
Yeah.
And that's what we will be. Mm-hmm. We decided to go with that.
Tea and a buddy,
because we were going to go Tea Buddy.
We are Tea and a Buddy though, you guys. So
we are Tea and a Buddy. That is our thing.
I just figure if you're going to look for us and you don't know our website name, you're going to put in Tea and a Buddy. You're not going to put in Tea Buddy, even though we're Tea Buddy on social media.
BUTTY.
Whatever, we're there, we're here, we're everywhere.
We are everywhere. It's like, you know, I can't go down the street now without someone going, hey, Tea and a Buddy.
Thank you for tuning in. I think we're becoming delirious now.
Delirious now. Go. Colder weather is happening.
We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.